Join me at Birmingham's famous back-to-back houses where chimney sweeps have been removing soot in a spring clean like no other.
Now, it is the time of year that many people decide to give their home a bit of spring clean. But it's no different for staff at the National Trust here in Birmingham.
Well, they have the unenviable task of tidying up the city's back-to-backs housing. Our reporter Lewis Warner is there for us and can explain a little bit more. Lewis?
Yes, Matt, we're taking a step back in time today to the 1800s when this row of back-to-back houses was created to deal with Birmingham's increased population due to the Industrial Revolution. Nowadays, though, the museum here doesn't just preserve the lives of the people who lived here, but also the buildings too. If we head inside, I can tell you about the 1870s. Legislation was passed that banned the building of new back-to-back houses because they were deemed unsuitable, but people didn't really have anywhere else to live, so they continued to live here. Now, this court of back-to-back houses is actually the last ones remaining, the last surviving in the West Midlands. At one point, 60 people lived in these 11 houses in the damp, dark and cold conditions. Today, though, they're maintained by Josh Lowe and the team at the National Trust. Josh, what was it like for people living here?
So although the conditions would have been quite hard for a lot of people throughout the period, the community spirit is what really kept them going, and actually this sort of way of living was much more preferable to the sort of lives that were moved to in the flats in the 60s.
And why is it important for us to preserve? Why is it important for us to preserve these buildings and the lives of people who lived here by the work that's been going on today?
So the National Trust job is to look after special places forever. And our programme of maintenance actually helps us stay open so that we can share the stories of the people who helped sort of build Birmingham for years to come.
Yeah, and it's fantastic work that you do. Just time to point out that the chimney sweeping work that's been going on here today, they don't do it like they used to, they really don't. There were 3 special vacuums used that sucked out the soot from 3 of the chimneys here. Of course, that'll improve the ventilation, and that means they can have the fires roaring. That means at the end of the day, when people come and look around, they get a better picture of what it was like to live here.
Interesting that, isn't it? Isn't it amazing that how now chimney sweeping is history? I can remember it happening.
Are you sure about
yes,
that?
Sure
You didn't just read
used
about
to stand
it?
outside and wait for the brush to come out the top of the chimney. No?
Yeah, I think that was a film you saw.
It was not. It was my house.
Anyway.